Hi, welcome to Module 1 of the MA in Ministry Program Seminar. You probably already know I'm Tim Rumley, your professor for this course. Let's take a look at Module 1 and help get you a little bit ready for what's to come. You can see the screen. I'm already on Module 1. I'm not going to try and go over everything. You can read the introduction. Always pay attention to the outcomes. This is what should happen to you as you do the module. I want to throw in a little note about the required reading. You've got required reading here, and you've got a PowerPoint lecture by Dr. Shane Johnson. On the required reading, when you get into the biblical worldview analysis paper, you're going to see in that assignment, it assigns you some more reading. So think ahead, take a look at the assignment, make sure you're ready to do all of that reading, some of which is specified and some of which you have to look for yourself. And as this is a course to get you into doing graduate work, one of the things about graduate work is you're generally expected to go find additional resources beyond your textbook and do more reading yourself. Many times those are journal articles. So that happens this time. Also, I really think you need a supplement to Dr. Johnson's lecture, so I will be posting some things. By the time you see this, they may already be there in an announcement. Some supplemental material from me on a biblical worldview. So look for that. So let's go look at the assignments. Assignment 1 is the personal introduction discussion. That's getting to know each other. I won't say anything about that. The next one is a biblical worldview discussion. So this is our first substantive discussion with content to it. I'm not going to read all this. You can do it, but let me look at this emphasize point. Our goal is to walk away from this exercise, this discussion, with an idea of what goes into the formation of a biblical worldview and how it impacts the kinds of questions Morrow is asking in part 2 of Thinking Christianly. So our goal is to understand a biblical worldview and how it's formed, and then down here at the bottom, as we discuss, we will help each other understand a biblical worldview and get ready to use our own biblical worldview in the MA Ministry program. So this discussion is about helping each other understand and form a biblical worldview. That's our goal. Sometimes I think in discussions, students aren't very goal-oriented. Well, we're trying to have a really good interaction about what a biblical worldview means and its implications. That's where we're going. So I hope that'll help you be goal-oriented. Then you have this biblical worldview analysis paper. As I wait for my computer to catch up. Did I miss that click? There we go. All right. This is your first paper. And I'm not going to read all of the instructions, but as I'm making this video, it is Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. And I have found, as I've taught this course before, that students struggle or misunderstand this assignment sometimes. And I think it's because it's kind of wordy as it sets itself out. So the first edit I made was move the core of the assignment, the main idea, right to the top. Here's what it is. In light of the following paragraphs, which I'm going to let you read for yourself, course reading and your research, so taking into account all three of those things, compare and contrast your understanding of a biblical worldview with the critiques you found in your research in a substantive essay of 1,500 to 2,500 words. So you're going to compare what you understand a biblical worldview to be, so you got to talk about what a biblical worldview is, with some of the critiques. People disagree with it. Sometimes godly Christians don't think a biblical worldview is as important as some of our authors do. Sometimes people who don't know Christ mock or criticize a biblical worldview. Want you to think critically about a biblical worldview and compare and contrast what you understand it to be with the criticisms that are out there. So I'll let you read this whole thing again, and there's a lot there. And here's where you're supposed to look at this link here. Christian Worldview is an archive of Christian Worldview articles. Here's 3 specific ones that are linked. Oh, and I've got to talk about this one, Biblical or Worldview Bootcamp. When you click on that, it's going to take you to Christianity Today. Christianity Today has what's called a paywall, and that means you can read part of the article. If you want to read all of it, you have to pay. We're not asking you to pay. So what are you going to do? Well, I've previously just linked uploaded the article here so students can get it, but I've decided this is a good exercise for you. Go to the Grace Christian University Bultema Library, go to the databases section, go to the theological databases section, and you might have to click on EBSCOhost after you do that. I think you do. And then go into the ATLA Theological Database. Once you have that open, search for Worldview Bootcamp, and you will find this entire article. Honestly, the entire article isn't very much longer than the part you can get at Christianity Today. But you'll get the whole thing this way, and it'll be good practice for you in using the databases, which in Module 3, you're going to get lots of practice. All right? And so there's 3 articles here to read. And then an instruction to do some of your own research and find critiques and criticisms of a biblical worldview, whether those come from Christian sources or secular sources. Then here's some questions to consider as you get ready to write your paper. And the paper is not just answering those questions. Those are to think about to help you get the mental juices flowing. But here's the core of the assignment again. After you've done all that, compare and contrast your understanding of a biblical worldview with the critiques you found in a substantive essay of 1,500 to 2,500 words. And that is the biblical worldview analysis paper. Then you will finish off the week with a weekly reflection discussion. Every week, there is one of these discussions that's a reflection. It's for you to look back and say, what did I learn this week and how did I learn it? What questions am I left with? What do I understand or not understand? And, okay, this is the last assignment, and it needs to be the last thing you do this week. The value of reflection is you've done all of your work for the week, for the module, and now you look back and think about it. And there's instructions guiding you. I'll let you read those instructions to let them guide you. But it is very powerful to look back and think about what we've learned. Imagine if our MA in Ministry program perfectly prepared students to do ministry. We think it's pretty good. It's obviously not perfect, but imagine it perfectly prepared students to work in ministry. But the students don't know they're prepared. They'll never use that preparation we gave them. This is the value of reflection. It helps you know what you know, to think about your learning, to guide your own learning, to understand your own learning. Now, because it must be the last thing done in the week, there's a reflection in modules 1 through 5. Because it is the last thing done, I will make an exception as far as the due date. I will accept your reflection posts 1 day late because you need to do them last. So now I don't really recommend doing it late because the next module is coming. This is a very fast train and it just keeps coming. But I understand if, as a busy working person, you barely get your paper done by midnight Monday night, I will take this reflection 1 day late, no penalty, midnight Tuesday night, because I want you to get done with everything else and then think about what you learned. All right, so that's week 1 and a little bit about the whole course. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. You have in the announcements my email address. You have my office phone number, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Time. And you have my cell phone number. And you're welcome to call my cell phone number. I don't answer unfamiliar numbers. So you may need to leave a voicemail. You're welcome to text me, but please identify yourself. I will be happy to help you out. So get back to me, get to me with your questions as you need to. Thanks. I hope you have a great week.